Books Don't Mix with Water, a Percabeth alternate universe fanfiction, Part 8. Give me one reason why I should go to homecoming, Annabeth glowered at her friend, Selena. Selena was Piper's cousin, on her mom's side. Tristan McLean, Piper's father, the famous movie star, all that, yet he was an only child. Piper's mother had a sister who had Selena. Though strangely enough, neither of them actually knew their mothers. Those two sisters just vanished. Besides that, Piper and Selena were worlds different. Selena was girly and sweet and a classic teenage junior girl on the cheerleading squad and boyfriend on the football team and all. Piper, well, she knew how to hotwire cars and never cared for a chipped nail. Not that Selena cried about it the way that girls in movies did. No, she just liked looking nice. Piper was truly one of the guys, and if it weren't for her appearance, maybe they all see her that way. Come on, you have to go. You only went freshman year, and as I'm told, you have to go again. Please, it's my first Hoko, Selena continued to beg Annabeth, who just rolled her eyes and shut her locker. Selena, that's not a reason, Annabeth said. The black-haired girl pouted. But I want to go to my first homecoming here with my friends, and that includes you, Selena urged, following Annabeth to their next class. Okay. Maybe that's reason, Annabeth smiled at her friend, who promptly squealed with joy. Whoa. Yes, why are you so excited? Luke asked when the two girls sat down in their seats. Annabeth could feel her cheeks heating up and quickly moved some of her hair to cover her face. Homecoming, she said. Luke only laughed. Luke, you have to tell Annabeth that she needs to come this year. It's my first Hoko, and she hasn't gone since 9th grade. And Talia told me that she didn't even want to go then, Selena said. Annabeth laughed. Yeah, and if I didn't want to go in freshman year, then why the heck would I want to go now? Annabeth reasoned. It was such a thing to go in freshman year. Why would junior year Annabeth think it was so important to go? If freshman year Annabeth didn't, either. Selena smiled innocently, pulling a puppy dog eye look. Because you love me, she cooed. Annabeth looked back at her friend with a blank expression. You should go, Annie. It could be fun. Maybe you'll meet up with your new surfer friend. Luke nudged her arm and smirked. Shut it, the blonde girl snapped. Selena gasped excitedly and shook Annabeth to try and get an explanation out of her. Said girl playfully glared at Luke, who was just snickering away for spilling that. After class ended, Annabeth walked to lunch with Selena and Luke. Please, Selena begged, but Annabeth shook her head yet again. Luke was laughing during this whole scene, not helping either side. How rude. Okay, if I say maybe, will that get you to please stop screaming in my ear? Annabeth sighed. Selena giggled. Depends on what your real answer is. Then maybe. Annabeth rolled her eyes and took a bite of her sandwich, waiting for Piper to come in. And she did, a mere 5 minutes later, which was too long for Annabeth's ears. Piper, hon, please tell your dear cousin to please stop screeching, the blonde girl said as soon as Piper sat down. Immediately, Piper broke out in a fit of laughter. Like that's gonna do anything? Piper, she snorted, earning a glare from the blonde-haired girl. Piper? A voice from behind the girl called, who, and the girl promptly froze, and a red blush formed across her cheeks. Annabeth smirked. Jason, she said loudly and smoothly. I didn't know you had this lunch. Piper pressed her cheeks to try and get rid of the flush and then turned around with a giddy smile. Hi, she said. Jason Grace beamed back, bright as ever. I didn't know you were friends with Annabeth, he said, balancing his lunch tray on one hand. Piper giggled and nodded. For the record, Piper doesn't giggle, so that just shows how much she likes Jason. Are you? She asked, shooting a look at her friend that read, Explain! Jason nodded. Over the weekend she came to the beach and watched the surf competition, he explained. Piper raised a brow. How? Annabeth doesn't go near water, she said, earning a laugh from Luke. That's what I said, but apparently Percy Jackson is a miracle worker. Selena gasped. Percy Jackson? Like, King of the Waves Percy Jackson? To say that Annabeth didn't want to answer that question was an understatement. Selena would have a whole field day. Jason waved a goodbye and walked off to his usual table, but not before telling Piper that he'd see her in the next class. Selena looked at Annabeth with wide and excited eyes, while Piper just stared dreamily off in space. No, I do not like him, Selena. I know what you're thinking, Annabeth hissed, making the black-haired girl pout. Too bad. He's cute, Selena hummed. Annabeth scoffed. Sure, he was attractive. Well-defined abs, muscular arms, sea-green eyes that looked like a pool of perfectly clear water on a tropical beach. Silky black hair that looked really soft and healthy, even though it was usually messy and in an uncombed state. Sure, that was, for say attractive and say cute to some people, but in her opinion, Luke was so much better. Like, come on, was there really any competition? Really? What was there? Was there? Well, I'm gonna head out, Luke announced. He had study hall this period, and as a senior, he could come and go as he pleased. You're not going to go and hang out with them, are you? Annabeth said with narrowed eyes. Luke scoffed and rolled his eyes, picking up his tray. No, I said I'd stop. Do you really think I'm gonna lie to you? He snapped. Annabeth sighed and nodded. You should really think about homecoming, though, Luke said with a laugh. Annabeth's mouth dropped as Selena started excitedly talking about homecoming again and about the perfect dress for her. Again! Yeah, screw you and your pretty face, Annabeth huffed when Luke had left the table and was out of earshot. Still like him, huh? Piper said gently. Annabeth slammed her head down on the table and groaned. I'll take that as a yes, Piper said lowly. I had to have fallen for the boy that treats me like a little sister, didn't I? Good job, me. Annabeth felt two hands on her shoulders. It'll pass. Crushes all pass, and you'll find a guy who is head over heels in love with you, she promised. The blonde girl lifted her head back up and ran a hand through her hair. Her eyes trailed to the door where Luke had walked through. Is it bad that I'm still worried that he's hanging out with Kronos and his friends? She asked. Piper and Selena shook their heads. You see, around freshman year for her and sophomore year for Luke, Luke had befriended a group of kids, their leader being a kid named Kronos. At first they were nice, but soon Annabeth noticed that they weren't the best group to be around. Constantly being suspended, getting into way too many fights, spray painting and vandalizing the school, breaking things, like anything, you name it. They were a part of it. They were not the good influence your mommies and daddies told you to find. Last year, one of their jokes went too far, and in jail they landed, including Luke. And can you ever imagine how panicked Annabeth was? Very. The answer was very. She was very panicked and mad, but she was mostly panicked. After yelling at him for a long time, Luke finally agreed to not hang out with them. She did catch him with them at the mall once, and yes, lots of screaming and even a slap in the face followed. More apologies came from Luke and another promise of being a part of their group again. And this time he stayed true to the promise, even though that didn't really stop Annabeth from worrying about him. The things we do and worry about for love.